time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Brent Wallace alongside the always vacationing Jason York. You need like a flamingo shirt or something.
I'm on my way back. I'll be back to the frozen tundra by 3:30 this evening. Well, it was like minus 30 right there.
I was going to say you might want to book that trip a couple extra days. It's going to be cold this week. However, the Sens are hot, as this show is proudly presented to you by Bet365. Download the app today. Yorkie, the Sens are 5-0-1. They sit in the first wild card spot. And no look now, but they are 1 point back of the Tampa Bay Lightning for third in the division. However, Tampa does have a couple extra games in hand. It's a different club right now.
It is. It's been a different club for a while now. And it just, we talked about this. How many times we talked about this? The way they play in the neutral zone, the way they check, the way they hang around in games. They just go back and look at the games they've won recently. They're not blowing anybody out, with the exception of the Boston game, which was, by the way, one of the most exciting games.
Great.
You know why it was exciting? Because there were mistakes. Like, how bad was that overtime? Some of the plays they were making in it, like the turnovers, and like, you watching the Senators earlier on in the season, they'd win some games and there weren't a lot of those mistakes like that. But that Boston game was just one of those games where weird shit was happening. Mike Batherson, one of the most sure-handed guys on the team, goes back with the puck, protects it. Oh, shit, bounces away, breakaway. Oh, no problem, big save. Barely even makes the save. But, for great game. But throw that Boston game out and look at the other ways and the other scores that this team is winning with. It's by defense. It's by playing with structure, with defense first, take care of your own zone, great neutral zone play, and limiting the opposition to a lot of not many high danger opportunities. That's been their recipe. Really strong defensive first hockey, and that's what Travis Green has preached from day one. And now you're starting to see the fruits from it.
Take that Boston game though and shoot it into my veins, because that had a little playoff feel. It had a little bit of nastiness to it. It had mistakes. Yeah. Great. I love that game. That game was fun to watch. Same with the if you didn't get a chance to see it, last night's Ranger Montreal game, another one of those games that was just they're entertaining. I love this time of year when the games matter.
You know what? Ottawa gets to that shootout with Boston. I'm like, you know what? Mary Lavin probably has the advantage here because they don't know him. Like, he's watched some of these guys and probably seen the highlights. I know what Pasternak's doing on breakaways, but they don't know what this guy is going to do. How good was he in that shootout? And late in the games too, making some key saves. Boy, oh boy, he was good. But hey, nice to see Forsberg finally have a good game, wasn't it? Really nice to see.
Thank God he did, yeah, because they got 16-2 in that period in the first. Like, they were all over them. But Yorkie, the problem is with Forsberg is you get this game sporadically. Like, aside from 3 times this year, he's allowed 1 or less goal, 2 or less goals. In fact, 3 or less goals. Everything else is more than that. And I just want to see consistency from Anton Forsberg. I think he can do it. He just hasn't shown it. Now, I would think tomorrow is going to be Marilainen. And then Thursday, since he's on the trip and they're in Boston, is Linus Ullmark.
Yeah. You know what I like about Forsberg? He's that guy when you think he's done, you think you can't trust him anymore. You think you don't, and all of a sudden his back is totally against the wall and he comes up with a great effort. Like that, to me, that's there's something there. It's and I do agree with you. Yes, he does have to be more consistent. Absolutely. Needs to be better. But he's not going anywhere. Like, Ottawa's going to need, unfortunately, with the situation with Linus Ullmark and the back, they're going to have to carry 3 goalies when he's healthy. You're just going to, it is what it is. They just don't have the depth in their system. But the good thing is, hey, like I said, his back was against the wall. They needed a win. Everybody keeps winning around them. It's like, no matter how, yeah, sure, they're 1 point behind Tampa, but look behind you. You've got a lot of teams in the rearview mirror right now. So this is going to be a sprint to the finish in the Eastern Conference.
Well, I think it's 4 teams are within 1 point, I think, of Ottawa. Like, sorry, I'll include Ottawa, Columbus, Boston, and Montreal. All within, is it 1 point or 2? 2 points. Ottawa with 52 points, Boston and Montreal 50 points, and Columbus 51. The way Montreal's playing right now, I don't think Columbus is going to be. I can see Montreal taking the spot, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I still say watch out. I know the Rangers lost last night to Montreal. Montreal, good story. They're playing well. I just don't think they can
Yorkie, they don't
withstand what they're
they
doing.
just keep winning. Other than the Toronto game, which was they were up 3-0 and lost.
Yeah,
they just keep winning though.
Yeah, I know they're playing some good hockey right now. Absolutely, it's just can they consistently do this for the rest of the season? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think when the dust settles, I just with the current makeup of Montreal's roster, let's just put it this way: if you get to this is all with a healthy Allmark. If it's getting close down the stretch, I'm taking Allmark over Montreal's goaltending. I know Montembeault's played really well, but I'm sorry. Allmark's better. Allmark's just got a better track record.
No question. Montreal's goaltending is a concern for me, but they just keep winning. Like,
you know what's
going to matter once the Four Nations is done, after teams get a couple of games under them again to get going, that stretch is going to separate teams.
You just don't know if the style like this. Like Montreal plays rope-a-dope hockey. Like they wait and they wait and they wait and they wait and they collapse around the front of the net and they don't create a lot, but they score on their chances. I just don't know if that style of hockey is withstandable once the league picks up. It's because the league's going to go like this now, and then it's going to go again once you get closer to the playoffs. It's going to ramp up, and I just look at that back end for Montreal too. I'm like, Lane Hutson's been a great story. He's going to be in the running for Rookie of the Year, but first year in the league, is he going to lead you to the playoffs?
Listen,
we'll see. I don't think so.
They're playing pretty good hockey. Lane Hutson's fun to watch. That guy has
really
no
fun.
fear.
Oh, listen, this kid's got the gift of the he's got the icky shuffle going back there. Remember the icky shuffle?
Love the icky shuffle. Jim McMahon, that whole rap they did. Anyway,
that's the Super Bowl shuffle, Wally.
Yeah.
Jim McMahon's the Super Bowl. The icky shuffle is that little running back
dance
there,
side to side.
He wasn't on the Bears. No. The icky shuffle is totally different. You're thinking there's a Super Bowl. No? I forget what team he was on, but he wasn't part of the Chicago Bears.
Okay, let's get back to the Sens. This show proudly presented to you by Gabriel Pizza, which we finally got. Sens score 4 on Saturday, but didn't get it on Sunday in a 2-1 win over the New Jersey Devils. Download the Gabriel Pizza Perks app today, and then start collecting points. You can get free pizza and all kinds of stuff when you use the app. So when the Sens score 4, you save more on the Gabriel Pizza Perks app. You just download the app and then order this 9-inch small pizza with any toppings you want, save 40% off the day after the Sens score 4. And of course, this show proudly presented to you by Charm Diamond Centers, more than 85 locations across Canada through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks for the unbeatable Charm Masterpiece program. And check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mine diamonds. Apply for the Charm Flexity card today and get approved for no interest financing on your purchase in minutes. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. That game against the New Jersey Devils has some concern for me, Yorkie. In fact, the last few games do have concern.
What are you concerned about?
Ottawa's power play.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a totally different conversation. The concern with Ottawa, but yeah, I
think they went 0 for 3 yesterday. They are struggling. Like since December, I think the last 18 games. All right, so the first 28 games of the season, they were 5th overall. Now they did struggle on the road a bit. I think they were 15th at the time. Since December the 13th, the last 18 games, they are 14%, 28th overall, 7 for 49. That's a concern for me for a team or for anybody as you go to the playoffs. You need your special teams to win you games.
Yeah. They're not shooting enough from that far side of the ice. If I watch Ottawa's power play, you need a shooting threat over on that offside where Norris usually is. And a lot of times Ottawa will be working it around And all of a sudden, Brady Tkachuk will get in that shooting list. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, why is Tkachuk over in the one-time position? And I see Josh Norris in front of the net, and then it doesn't work that way. And the thing with Ottawa's power play, it's become predictable. A lot of teams have pre-scouted it. Just how Ottawa's penalty kill has got better. You prepare, and as the season goes on, your penalty kill becomes much more prepared for other teams' power plays. But it's just more predictable. And when you watch them move the puck, they're not snapping it around like they used to, where it's like you're almost not thinking, it's just boom, 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 and all of a sudden it goes up, it goes down, and Batherson throws it across, and you've got that no looker. Last game, New Jersey was prepared for that. They tried that little slot pass to Norris, it wasn't there. But you've got to, the way to soften up another team's penalty kill is you got to be a shooting threat. Right. And with Sanderson, like it's right away he's throwing it down to the flank all the time. I was always a believer, especially early on in the power play, throw a couple towards the net, because as soon as you throw a couple towards the net, the box or the diamond has to turn around and try and locate where those pucks are, and then you can soften them up. They're not shooting the puck enough, and for God's sake, keep Norris on that one-timer. I don't want him in front of the net. I want him on the one-timer.
So Yorkie, if we all see this, and to me it looks like they're slow. And they're just, I don't know if they're looking for the perfect shot. I've never been on an NHL power play. But if we can all see this, why is it not changing for them?
You got to understand how, when we're watching it on television, it looks like it's moving slow, but it's moving a million miles an hour. And don't forget, like I said, the other team is pre-scouted. They know what Ottawa's trying to do. Stützle tries to change the angles. He'll come up, he'll go down, he'll hold on to the puck. But the problem when you hold on to the puck that long, and it's just you, like it works for Edmonton. Edmonton will hold on to the puck on that one side because you've got McDavid and Draisaitl that are interchanging the puck all the time. If you watch Timmy, like he'll hold it, and he'll hold it, he'll hold it, and he'll finally go down to Batherson, but it's too slow. Like when you hold it that long, you allow the box to adjust, and they know, or the diamonds. So it's to me, it's the best ones, the best power plays, establish a shot. And after that, you got to move the puck quicker. But they're just going, they've got the skill, they've got the talent. To me, it's one of those reps they're going through right now. I believe they will figure it out. They've got too much talent. And also, too, Ottawa's a little bit of a rare power play. They're one of the few teams that actually gives their second unit a look. Most teams will go
second unit.
But a lot of times when your power play is not going well, especially your first unit, they'll usually play a minute and 30, a minute and 40. So sometimes it'll be a terrible power play for the first 50 seconds, and then they'll score late. Ottawa's first unit never gets that opportunity because they switch and the second unit comes on, because you got to get Claude Giroux out there, because imagine him sitting on the bench for a minute and 40. He wouldn't be too Shane Pinto, because they've got guys that can do it. So it's a unique situation. So it probably adds to the fact, like when your first unit is struggling, like you're not getting that extra time like an Edmonton power play or a Nathan McKinnon who's staying on the ice a minute and 40. It's just it's different in Ottawa, where it's that two-man group.
So 18 games this power play has basically struggled, if you will, 7 for 49. So why not change somebody? Why not put Claude Giroux on the power play on the first unit?
Yeah, I could see, like, the thing is, if they were losing, it would be more of a it would be more of a something you wanted to change urgency? Right away. Yeah. Urgency is the word I'm looking for. Like the team's winning right now. I do love the chemistry between Pinto and Giroux on that second unit. Like when Pinto pops up into the high slot there, Giroux's got the little slide pass there. I don't think they're going to change it right now because they're winning. Yeah. But like I said, to me, it's move the puck quicker, become more of a shot presence, and Norris, keep him on that one-timer. I don't want him in front of it. Brady is probably the best net front guy in the league. He's not a one-timer guy.
But he did score, though, in the Boston game, the key goal basically in that slot.
I know. Well, the slot's different. Like that's when you're coming down, because when he's in the slot, he comes from in front of the net and he bumps out to the front, then Norris goes down to the back door. But I'm talking about when you're moving around the top, when it's going back and forth between Sanderson and Stützle. Like I would like to see them pull the other team over and keep Norris more often in that one-timer. Like, he got a great one-timer. Like just get more of a shooting threat from that far side of the ice.
By the way, the Cincinnati Bengals with Icky Woods. Thank you. I forget where somebody in the chat mentioned. I apologize now.
Can we get it? Can we get a video? We got to see.
No, Yorkie, that's not how the show works. I need you to take care. Do you have your glasses?
I got them, buddy.
Okay. Let's
get to work here.
Yeah, do some work.
Let's do some work with our friends from BEI, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. You can hit them up at BeneschExcavating.com or at 613-432-1120. Custom crushing and screening, hot mix paving, topsoil, aggregate sales, equipment rentals. You can look them up for all those needs. So when you're planning your next project, please consider BEI for all your aggregate supply needs. And please remember to slow down in construction zones.
And as always, our show is proudly presented to you by Bet365. Open an account today with Bet365. Bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code NATION, NATION. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Yorkie, tonight, the Ottawa Senator fans are cheering for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, who are the Leafs playing again? I don't have the schedule.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
I don't think Ottawa's cheering for Toronto as much as they want Tampa to lose. I don't see how that's possible.
Absolutely.
It was different the other night. Who did Toronto beat the other night for Ottawa? They beat. They were cheering for them in that game, but
the Leafs. The Habs.
Yeah. But it's still pretty early. I still think things are going to jump around before it's all said and done. Like I don't see Tampa as a wild card team. I see them as a top 3 team. Well, Boston's all of a sudden become very interesting, Wally. Ottawa's now played extremely well against them in back-to-back games. I know there were spots in this game where it was a lot of mistakes, but you go back to that game Ottawa had in Boston where they did not allow the Bruins a shot in that third period. What was that, about a month ago?
Yeah,
like they match up extremely well against the Boston Bruins.
But Boston's not even in the conversation for me anymore.
No, Boston's done.
There's nothing about them that makes me think that they're going to be in the playoff spot.
Well, I never count the Boston Bruins out. They got a goalie. I love their coaching staff. They got Big D. They've got some goal. The thing with Boston that I don't like is down the middle. I just don't. They don't have that guy down there. They don't have that.
They don't have game breakers.
Yeah.
Sorry, David Pastrnak. Don't like, but
yeah,
that team is not anywhere near. It's just an average hockey team to me now.
How good of a story is Justin Brazeau on that team, Wally? Do you know his story?
No.
So I watched Justin Brazeau when he played junior hockey. He played up in North Bay. He has size. I'm trying to remember because a good friend of mine, Justin Bruce, his son was the captain in North Bay. And I used to go watch North Bay play Kitchen. And this Brazeau kid, he was 6'5", size 16 feet. And he was not a great skater, but he could score like crazy. Never drafted, went to the East Coast League, kind of bounced around. Was actually in Toronto system for a while. And all of a sudden is just grinded and finds himself in the NHL. He's one of Boston's best players right now. Like he's a really good story. Undrafted kid with size 16 feet, now playing in the NHL. Couldn't skate, but it just goes to show you, worked really hard on his game, and now he's a full-time NHL player. Really good story. Great kid too.
Well, he plays on the Bruins, so I don't care about him.
I like good stories. I like good stories, Wally. I'm all about the players.
Do you remember, but by the way, the only reason I think the Ottawa Senators are in this playoff race is the way that they've played on the road. And the reason I say that, remember they started the year 1-5 on the road and they're like, this team.
They were awful.
Right? So
but they were, those games they were losing. Remember? They would lose and you would hear them talk after a game and there was just one little mistake here and there where they beat themselves. Like they weren't. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, since that time, they're 11-6-2. Which is somewhere around 8th, I think, overall in the league. They own, so the last 19 games, they own the best save percentage and best goals against on the road in the National Hockey League.
Really?
Goaltending.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, goaltending. And if you go back and look at these recent games from Ottawa. Like, look at the scores in the games. Like I talked about earlier, like beating that, like Dallas Stars, low scoring games, shutting out the New York Islanders 2-0. The game against New Jersey. So I watched the American broadcast here. I was watching it was on NHL Network, and Kevin Weeks was doing the game, and he could not stop talking how Ottawa was shutting down one of the best offensive teams in the league. He goes, like Weeks watches a lot of Devils games. Like, I can't believe what I'm watching right now. He goes, Jack Hughes, he's not getting a sniff. Like, this is he goes, what Ottawa is doing right now is impressive, because they basically, in that third period against New Jersey, did you ever really think the game was in doubt? Like, they blanketed them in neutral zone. They outnumbered them down low for pucks in their own zone. They won all the races to the loose pucks. Like, I don't really think New Jersey got maybe one scoring opportunity in that third period. And that's Ottawa on the road, back-to-back games, playing one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. But that's just all playing the right way, buying in, and having zero passengers. Like, that was one of the I go back to that second period against Dallas I saw. That was one of the best second periods I saw.
Yeah.
That was one of the best third periods Ottawa's played all season long defensively. Did you see they go back, Wally, outnumber the puck, get it, flip it out of the zone. New Jersey would come in again. They'd do the same thing. They just stifled them. They gave them nothing. It was so much fun to watch.
It's surprising, because remember we said in November, when they had that big stretch coming up in December at the World Juniors, of how they had the 9 straight games on the road, of where this team was at. Well, they've weathered all that really, really well. And now they're going to come down the stretch here and play 9 of 10 at home, I think it is, to end the season. This team is set up extremely well schedule-wise.
Yeah, the trap they have to make sure they don't fall into is trying to play differently at home and put on a show for your fans.
Sure.
Like a lot of times you'll find that you get on the road and you don't care how you play as long as you win, because who cares if you entertain the visiting team crowd? You just want to win. You don't care how many times you flip the puck out of the zone, or how many times you maybe ice it or do something boring. And that's the key. Don't fall into the trap of trying to play something that's not going to be successful for you when you get back at home, because a lot of teams will do that. They'll try and make that extra play, and that's not what they're about. They're about defense first, limiting opportunities, and being real tough to play against.
So you're not going to agree with me if I ask this, but they're struggling to score goal.
Remember I said they didn't need to score that much to win? You're like, I got to score goals.
Yeah.
How this team going to win if they don't score goals?
So they're winning without scoring, but you still think they need to add a D down the stretch? I like this group defensively. And by the way, Nick Jensen needs to stop taking these monstrous hits. I'm worried about his health.
He takes some big hits, eh?
Yeah, I'd like to know at the end of the year what all he's played through.
He's a tough little bugger, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he goes back for the puck and takes a lot of hits back there. He went. You know why? Because he's such a great skater. He wins a lot of those 50-50 races to the puck, and he'll take it, protect it, absorb it, and then he'll just kind of shuffle it over to Shabbat. It's a great play, but it does take a toll on your body. It's like a quarterback. You've taken, just to throw that pass, you stay in the pocket an extra second.
Yes.
And you take a big hit. Like, those will catch up with you. So, he's been Jensen's been so good. I'll give you some kudos here. Your boy Matt and Paulo, even though he only plays some nights 12, 13, 14 minutes, he's been really reliable. You watch him go back and make plays, it's just get it. And if you're a forward, you're like, okay, Matt and Paulo knows the puck. I know it's coming up the boards. I know he's going to do this. He plays very predictable defensive hockey, it's easy because pretty well, if you're on the ice, you know what he's going to do. And he boxes out extremely well. He is getting, you know what? Injuries create opportunities, and it's up to the player to make the most of that opportunity. But 6'4", big, right, getting meaner. There's a lot to like about this kid's game. He's not a kid. He's a little bit older. He's a 98. So
he's 26. Yeah, I think he's 26. Does he come out of the lineup if and when everybody's healthy?
It depends if the team continues to play like this. Well, let me ask you this: is this the best Tyler Clevin has played all year?
He looks pretty good.
But,
yeah,
come on, this is by far the best hockey he's played all season.
Well, like I don't want to go with recency bias, but I think he's looked really good of late, without question. Yeah,
this stretch of hockey since they've started winning is Clevin's best hockey he's played. He's sure-handed with the puck. He's playing super confident defensively. Because I talk about this all the time. Look how the defense is structured now. You've got partners. You've got guys, and they're playing game in and game out with each other. And then you get used to each other. Clevin is starting to get used to playing with Mott and Paul. Shamot and Jensen have been great all year. And all of a sudden you got Zub back. Oh, guess what? Samson's playing some of his best hockey in season 2. It's people have no idea how important it is to keep guys together and to gain chemistry as having set D partners. So I don't think he's going to come out. If the team continues to play like this, he won't be coming out. He's just, he brings a different. You can't teach size.
I know. So that that 6D currently constructed is what I want to start the playoffs with.
Well, let's see. He's got to continue. He's got to continue to play the way he's playing, and I won't be surprised if Ottawa's still in this position and they're come trade deadline, they'll probably trade for another defenseman because you're going to need depth moving into the playoffs, especially with Hamonic and the knee, Docker high ankle sprain. You're going to have to bring in another defenseman, and it'll depend on what they do and what kind of player that is. So I'm not sure if he plays like this right now, he'd be great to start the playoffs with. But I'm of the opinion a lot of defensemen, if 90% sure.
Yorkie, they're not. We'll get into it tomorrow, but they're not scoring. Their top 6 is not scoring.
Oh, they scored a few nice ones against Boston.
Against Boston, yeah, sure. Didn't Tyler Clevin score in that game?
Yeah, Zub's been scoring. A Stopchak's been scoring.
Congrats to him on his first NHL goal.
So people were belly aching. Damn it! Are the defense ever going to get some goals on that? We got the lowest scoring defense in this. The defense never score. The bottom 6 never scores. Now all of a sudden, the top 6 guys aren't scoring, and the bottom 6 guys are chipping in, and some defensemen are scoring, and everybody's still belly aching. All you gotta do is win. Just win. It doesn't matter how. Win, and who cares if Zub throws a wrister from the point, a Stopchak throws a seeing-eye knuckler. It's just, this is how the season goes. It's your top guys aren't always going to be scoring. Unfortunately, you got guys like Tkachuk right now. People are talking. He hasn't scored in a while, but that's what good teams do. The bottom guys will chip in, and that's what you're seeing right now. So yeah,
we'll discuss Mr. Tkachuk tomorrow because he's playing probably in his favorite building tomorrow night at MSG. Speaking of which, Yorkie, is Guy Boucher ahead of his time, perhaps, as we discuss rest as a weapon? In your day, you used to play back-to-backs. You may have the next day off, but every time you would travel somewhere, if you would play the night before, you would skate the next day. You would always skate the next day. Ottawa rare, and I don't know everybody else's schedule enough to comment on any other team's practice schedule, but Ottawa rarely now practices 2 days a row, or they will always have an off day in between here and there. Like, they don't practice very much anymore.
I was talking about this with my buddy Joe yesterday about how the NHL. We're talking about why the NHL is so much faster, so much better now. Why the game just looks so much more incredibly fast. And I said, when I used to play, I was just tired all the time. Like they didn't like. Teams now have sleep science doctors. They've got private chefs at the rink. We used to joke around, like we'd get to the rink and like, oh my God, we got to put our skates on again. It's like I've tied my skates so much to the side. When people that played hockey know this, when you're playing a lot at a tournament and you're tying your skates and your side of your knuckles are like raw from tying your skates so much. Yeah. It just, believe it or not, playing in the NHL, it does get monotonous after a while of continually practicing and practicing. Mm-hmm. They figured it out. Like you don't need to practice that much. It's your body. It's more important to rest. And I used to. The only team I was on, Wally, that kind of figured it out early was Nashville. Barry Trotz, I think he did this on purpose, but we used to say, I can't believe how easy these practices are. Like, we barely sweat. But he was
Yeah.
doing it on purpose because he knew the group was tired. He knew we needed rest, where other teams were still going an hour and a half, just busting the guys up. And it just, you can't do it. The season's too long. Imagine, you just said it earlier. Imagine trucking Jensen out for a practice the next day after he's been hit 25 times. He's played 23 minutes, hard minutes. Hey, guess what? You're going on the ice today because you know what you really need? To skate again. you need to skate some more. Sure, it's just every team's doing the same thing, Wally. It's giving your players rest because the season's it's stupid. It's 82 games. It's not humanly possible for your body to recover and practice all the time. You just can't do it.
Just shocks me how much it's changed. Always practiced. Remember, you guys always skated.
Well, so I told the story yesterday to my buddy. It's like I would lose on average 6 to 8 pounds a game. Next day, I'd come back to practice. I would have eaten like 2 steaks, chicken, ton of stuff after the game, cookies, dessert, probably 2,000 calories. So I would still be, from the 8 pounds I lost, I'd still be down 4. So I'd gain the 4 back. The next day, then I'd have to go practice again the next day, starting the practice off 5 pounds later than my normal weight, lose another 2 in practice. So I'm down 6 again, and then have to play the next day. So you're in a constant cycle of never catching up. And then that's how you get hurt. Then guys start getting groin pulls, you start getting dehydrated. But now teams are smart. They've got a director of sports science, they've got a nutritionist, they've got a sleep doctor, they've got everything. Like there's no excuse now. And it's just Boucher was right. He was smart. Like he figured it out early.
And to add to that, you used to use a wooden stick, so I'm surprised you scored any goals at all. So proud of you. Quickly last thing I want to ask, as Ottawa sits right now with being 1 point back of Tampa for third in the Atlantic Division, where do you think the Sens will finish the season in the standings?
That's a great question. I've said this from day one. I think they're going to be a wild card team. I don't see them catching Tampa. Maybe they do. It'd be great if they did. But I still think there's going to be some ups and downs. They're on a heater right now. Are they going to be able to continue this? Probably not.
Yorkie, they've been playing this way. My apologies for interrupting. Since November 25th.
Talking about
they've been doing this for 2 months.
I'm just talking. They're not going to go and win 5 games in a row all the time, or grab 9 out of 10 points all the time. It's not possible. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm just consistently over the last 2 months, which is around
they've been playing
9
great
games.
No, I think they can play. I think they can play 650 hockey, and that's probably, without me doing the math right now, good enough to get you into the playoffs. I'm still concerned about Allmark. Like I want to see what's going to happen with Linus Allmark. You're going to need him back in. I think they're a wild card team when it's all said and done. Yeah. Probably. If I look at who's behind them right now, I've got no problem saying they could be the first wild card team. I just love to see them as I want to see a Toronto Ottawa first round. I really do. I want to see that bad.
It'd be great, no question. And by the way, after watching Toronto play the Montreal game, and I know they won that game 7-3 or whatever it was, I may have misspoke early.
What's that with?
I may have misspoke about maybe Ottawa not being
your Leafs.
We're going to move on.
You told me there's no way that Ottawa has a chance against Toronto. They're too good, and the best team in the Eastern Conference.
They did well. They haven't mistakenly just showed up as the second best now in the Eastern Conference. Like, let's put some respect on teams that have done well all year. But
okay, but you understand, you just get to Ottawa the last couple of years. You've been living in Ottawa for a long time. You've been watching what happens to Toronto this is what Toronto does. They do every single season. They are one of the best regular season teams in the league.
Yeah.
And then it changes in the playoffs. Until I see differently, it's tough to bet on a horse that keeps doing the same thing.
Well, it's funny you say that because it would be Ottawa in the late 90s, right? Great regular season teams face the Leafs or
Yeah.
whatever. Boom, it can't get it done. So we'll
Yes.
see. Listen, if it was tomorrow, if it started tomorrow, that would be I think that's a 7-game series.
Healthy Allmark?
Yeah.
If it started tomorrow, Wally, and Toronto was playing Ottawa in a best of 7, are you still taking the Leafs? You're adamant. This is just a week ago. Like a week ago, you said there's no chance Ottawa wins, and I said, I think you're wrong. I think Ottawa wins.
This past weekend of Ottawa,
you've reflected.
And the recent games of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Now you're saying Toronto in 7. Before you were like Toronto in 4.
No, I just said they would win the series. That's a tough one for me. I still think Ottawa finishes perhaps 3rd in the division. And the reason I say that, can I see the February schedule, Jake? Ottawa goes to Florida right before the break, and they play Tampa back-to-back and Florida. I think if they can come out of there being close, if not ahead of Tampa, they will finish out the season in 3rd. That week for me is crucial for them. It's in they got 10 games up until then, I think.
And by the way, how stupid is this Four Nations Cup? Like, how stupid is it?
I don't know if, like, nowhere do I ever have the conversation. Anybody ever approaches me, goes, "Hey, can't wait to see the Four Nations start."
And I'm going to tell you why it's stupid. So people don't want to watch exhibition hockey because the players aren't going 100%. That's why All-Star games work for the host city. Because I like a good All-Star weekend. It's great for the host city. The skills night, it's lots of fun. The kids, the sponsors, everybody comes. But you only have to watch one game. It's only one bad game. It's about the spectacle, celebrating the game, doing all that. So it works. But this is like going to have like 12 All-Star games.
Yeah.
Just picture it. You're going to have some guys playing against their teammates. So if I'm playing against one of my teammates, like let's say it's
you think Brady's going to run Linus Ullmark if he's playing?
Like, imagine that you take out one of your players on your team and you miss the playoffs because you've injured one of your players. That's why this thing is ridiculous. Like,
is it not just forced to see Crosby play with McDavid? Is this not the whole reason we're doing this?
But even McDavid, like, imagine if you get hurt driving the net and and I know there's always a risk. There's always a risk every time you put the skates on. You can get hurt. You can do something. But it's like I said, the All-Star game is one game. Guys don't go hard. It is what it is. This is like having whatever. How many games are there? Let's just call it 20 All-Star games. Like, geez, what a joke.
Your best players are now coming back to join your team, having just grinded it out an extra 5-6 games.
If I'm an owner of a team, and I know there's some extra revenue and all this coming, I am on pins and needles watching my best players play, knowing that this could affect my playoff chances.
We'll call it the Dominic Hasek Memorial Tournament or whatever.
It is. Oh my God! With nothing on the line.
Nothing on the line. Like, what are you gonna? We're the Four Nations. Like, I covered World Cups. I covered both, 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Nobody it was fun. It was a little different. It reminded you of the '87 Canada Cup, but it's never really had the luster. The Olympics does, for sure.
No,
this Four Nations thing to me just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to it, and and it's obvious with where they're selling tickets.
Well, the last time they did something like this, it worked because the most exciting about the World Cup of hockey, the most exciting part of that whole tournament was the Young Guns team. Everybody was all excited. Yes. Young Guns, you're going to see all this and that to me was the sizzle. You had some sizzle. We'll see all these young guys. I would have went back to that old tried and true formula because there's nothing like, what are you selling here? Friends play against friends and sometimes foes. Oh my God. Oh,
some of the best players are playing in this tournament. Come watch.
Yeah, some of the best players are like going to try not to get hurt.
Will you watch it?
Well, the NFL
because it's on, right? Because there's nothing else on.
Not if there's a good Netflix show on or something. I'll be watching that. Like I'm watching. Josh Norris. He got me on Landman.
Oh.
I've been powering through Landman, so I'll be watching Landman.
Is it good?
Billy Bob. Very good. Very good. Josh, good recommendation. Landman.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you got to run, so thanks for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow morning when you get back to Ottawa.
All right. Well, get well. I know you're not feeling well right now. You got what I got. I think I gave it to you over the pod. Is it contagious over the podcast? What I got?
We're symbiotic now, so yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, get well soon.
See you, pal. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.